Hi there. Well, my name is Ben Salter. You probably recognise the name from lots of pictures I've been putting up on the Images of Penarth Facebook page over the years. And I've decided that now I've got some more time on my hands, having just retired, I'll do some little video shorts about things about Penarth you may not know. So, welcome to this occasional series on things you may not know about Penarth. Things a little bit off the wall, not your regular things. So, yeah, stick with me, and I'll post occasionally with something you may not know about Penarth, although you probably all do anyway.
Well, here we are on Cliff Hill, looking over the Bristol Channel towards Flatholme and Steepholme in the distance there. But down on the beach, there's this concrete square, the remains of a wooden post in the centre of it. Now that used to be a vital piece of Coast Guard training equipment, where they would practice going up there to attach a rope to set up what's known as a breeches buoy, which would be the rope they could have set up between the beach and a ship in distress. And there were several of these dotted around the country at one time. And yeah, we used to have one at Penarth. I remember going up there as a kid, but long since gone now. Well, still on Cliff Hill, we're opposite the lifeboat station, and there's a bit of new wall there that replaced a bit of old wall. And in the old wall that was there used to be a gents urinal, and there's quite a lot of urinals around Penarth. We'll be seeing a few of those in this video, or where they were. But there used to be one in the wall just there, where that bluey car is in the centre there, and that was demolished to make way for the new car park for the lifeboat station there. Yeah, interesting. It's long since gone. And here we are outside Tony's Pizza's takeaway and Mario's ice cream. Who remembers the antique shop that used to be in this corner at the end of the 1960s and very early 70s? Used to be an antique shop there selling all sorts of interesting bits and pieces. And in the corner here, there used to be a mine where you could put a penny in towards the RNI, and yeah, lots of mines like that around the country at one time. Across the road from the pier, of course, is the old Penarth swimming baths. There used to be 2 pools here, and originally you could also have a saltwater bath here. There were 1 or 2 cubicles with a bath in it, and you could have a saltwater bath. I'm not talking about the swimming pools, I'm talking about a bath like you'd have in your own home. Seawater was sucked up from under the pier and filtered up in Alexandra Park. We'll see some of that later. And then the filtered water would flow back down into the pool area here, heated. And then you could have a saltwater bath. I think back in the day, saltwater was considered quite a healthy thing to do. And these days, of course, we're seeing a lot of people swimming in the sea at Penarth, because apparently it's a healthy thing to do. I must admit, rather them than me, but yeah, Penarth baths, not only for swimming, you could actually have a saltwater bath here at one time. Well, here we are at the northern end of the promenade, looking along the path there, and in the distance you can just see the entrance to Cardiff Docks. This area known as the Dardinels for some reason. On your left here, on the wall, there's a white sign, and that sign up there used to warn people of cliff falls or being cut off by the tide. Interestingly, it's in English, Welsh and French. Maybe the French was something to do with this sort of French name, the Dardinels, the name given to this area in the past, apparently. Beneath the sign there's this concrete wall, brick breeze block wall with some graffiti on it, and that's actually the blocked up entrance to yet another Penarth urinal. So you could have had a pee down by the lifeboat station, or you could have had a pee here beneath Beach Hill in this old urinal, which is long since closed. In fact, for many years the water ski club at Penarth used to keep their equipment in there. They'd have all sorts of bits and pieces there, you know, buoys and stuff for the racing, and life jackets or whatever. Yeah, but when the water ski club moved on, it was bricked up. So yeah, the entrance there to another bricked up urinal at Penarth. Of course, the urinal stands right next to the slipway here at Penarth, and this was the site of the old multi-storey car park. And how we missed the multi-storey car park with all the increased car traffic. Imagine if we had all that space on there now, back in place. But yeah, multi-storey car park long since gone. Great shame. There we are, another urinal, and the white sign up there, by the way, used to be at the far end of that path, but was moved to that location when the cliffs down at the far end of the path there started to erode badly. So they salvaged the sign and put it up there on the wall above the old urinal there. There we are. Well, we're in the Kim-In now, and there's the Kim-In house. But did you know that this area in front of us now, where all these walls are and little picnic tables and things, there used to be a stable block here, and yeah, stables for the Kim-In house, and we used to come in here as kids, and I took a few photographs in the old stable blocks. I've got a picture here, look, of what they used to look like. Long since gone, but I presume, or maybe some of these walls here are made from the bricks or the stones recovered from the old stable blocks at the back of the Kim-In. Yeah, stable blocks for Kim-In house. Lots of disappeared things around Penarth. We're up in Bradford Place now, opposite Seaview Court, and on our right, Homeside House. Did you know that this used to be known as Flash's Field? There used to be a big field here, and as kids we used to come up here because my mother used to have an allotment on the cliff edge at the far end of the field. This was known as Flash's Field. We used to push a wheelbarrow down there through to the allotment, through a gate that used to be just there. I presume it was Flash's Field because rumour has it that there used to be a horse living in the field here called Flash, hence Flash's Field. But of course, like a lot of places, all built over now with this new housing development. Great shame. Well, we're at one of the highest places in Penarth now. We're up on Penarth Head, standing on the newfangled viewing platform, which replaced a lovely old shelter. There was a lovely old Victorian shelter here, cast iron with a corrugated iron roof, with a lovely little view across the channel there. Long since gone. But just ahead of us here, where I'm pointing, was the top of the steps that used to lead down to the searchlight towers that used to stand on the beach down below the head here. And those searchlight towers were protecting the entrances to the approaches to Cardiff docks and Penarth docks. They could have picked out any enemy boats coming up the Bristol Channel. Of course, all that was long since demolished. But just there, the steps used to come up into what's the bottom of someone's garden now. This building, although it doesn't look it, is actually one of the oldest buildings in Penarth, and was originally a telegraph station for signalling to ships approaching Cardiff and Penarth docks. There would have been a tall mast here which would have displayed various flags and symbols telling the captains of the ships which of the docks they were to go into, with the state of the tide, you know, wind direction, and all that kind of information. So although it looks like a fairly modern building, it actually is quite old. There's a lot of maritime history around Penarth. We'll see a bit more of that later on. But yeah, that's the old telegraph house here, and in the background there you can see St Augustine's Church, which is in fact the highest point in Penarth and the highest point on the South Wales coast. Don't know if you knew that or not. There we are, Penarth Head, with a lovely view across the Bristol Channel there. Now we're outside the old Penarth Urban District Council offices, and what was the fire station to the right of that on Albert Road. There used to be a fire station to the right of this building, and when they demolished it, the council donated the land to the Albert Road School, who extended their playground, And to the left there, the new church hall, which replaced a much bigger building that used to stand there. And we used to go down from Albert Road School as kids into that building to have our school dinners. And they used to have a lot of really good jumble sales there back in the day as well, I remember. Now we're outside Penarth public toilets. Interestingly, a few years ago, the men's and the ladies' side swapped sides. So the ladies is where the men's is now, and the men's is where the ladies were. And in the men's side originally, you could have actually had a bath here, like at the Penarth bars. You could have had a saltwater bath. Here you could also have a bath. There was an attendant here, and you'd slip him a few coins and get a key. And there was a room here with a bath in it, and so you could actually have a bath here. So I presume back in the day, not many houses had a proper bathroom, so you could actually make use of the facility here at the public toilets. Who knew you could have a bath at the public toilets? But back in the day, you could have done. In Alexandra Park, and we're still on the toilets theme, guys. Who remembers the little toilets that used to be here, little public toilet, little concrete cottage that used to stand here, surrounded by a wooden picket fence? And there we are. There's a photograph of the old toilets. Not many people seem to remember these toilets for some reason, but yeah, they used to stand just there. Long since gone. And we're walking still in Alexandra Park, and we're approaching what was called the tank bed, or was known as the tank bed. After World War I, a tank was recovered from the battlefields and driven through Penarth and displayed on a plinth here. And that was sadly cut up at the start of World War II because they needed the metal apparently. But yeah, the tank used to stand there on what's now a flower bed. Must have been quite a sight seeing that tank being driven through Penarth on its way down to its final position here in Alexandra Park. Used to be some big cannons here at one time as well, apparently. Yeah, so much has disappeared. Now we're on the little steps here behind what was Penarth Baths, and there's these little, not Dolly Steps, but these little steps here going down, and on our right hand side here is where the old filter beds used to be for the swimming pools. Water was pumped up from a filter thing below the pier into these tanks where the water was allowed to settle, so all the silt would settle to the bottom, so the water on the top would have been then quite clear, and then it ran down here by gravity to the saltwater baths below us at the swimming pool. The water was heated down there, so it wouldn't be freezing. But there were two big settling tanks here, one just here and one just off in the trees to the left. And interestingly, there's still a gap in the hedge here, which would allow maintenance people to come through to the filter. There's a little gate on there originally, accessing the filter bed there. And if we go down the path a little bit more, we'll come to another little gap in the fence, which was the entrance to the second filter bed. You can see where the stones go in there, and now of course this one's completely overgrown. But interestingly, just a bit further down here at the bottom of the path, we still have the little stone building that contained the pumping apparatus for pumping the water up from beneath the pier. Imagine beneath the pier there was a sort of, it was still there actually, it's like a steel pipe with a sort of sieve on the top, and the water was sucked through that up to this building here. I think I've got a picture of that filter thing under the pier. I'll put it on now. There it is. And yeah, water sucked up through that up to this building and then up into the filter beds before finally going down to the saltwater baths at the pool. I've often wondered what's in that building now. I expect it's full of lawnmowers. Who knows? The Dolly Steps, yeah, on the way out of Alexandra Park, these little steps, legend has it, they were built like this to allow Victorian and Edwardian ladies wearing long crinoline skirts to go up the steps without having to lift their legs too much. I suppose it would have been quite difficult to use normal steps with a big flowing skirt, so little steps were put in place. The railings in the centre there, they're more recent. But yeah, known as the Dolly Steps, because I suppose you would have taken little Dolly Steps to go up them. But yeah, for ladies with big skirts on to make the stairs useful for them, apparently. Now we're in Holmesdale Place, and just off Holmesdale Place there's this lane, and at the end of the lane there you can see a stone building with a blue door. Now this is quite an important part of Penarth's maritime history. This is the Rocket House, and this is where the Coast Guards used to store their rockets and associated equipment for the rescue of ships that were in trouble off the coast here at Penarth. If a ship had been washed ashore in a big storm, they could fire a rocket with a rope on it to the ship and set up a means for the sailors to be transferred ashore. And so the Coast Guards would have had a horse and cart in there with all their equipment, which they could then take down to the seafront should the need arise. And of course the Rocket House here stands at the back of the Coast Guard cottages, and here are the cottages, and this is where the Coast Guards used to live. I mean, there must have been quite a big operation here, because there's quite a row of little cottages here. So it wasn't just one or two people, it was quite a big organisation back then, I suppose. Very desirable place to live now. And next to the Coast Guard cottages we have the Coast Guard Tower. Now the tower has been modified, it's been extended there, you can see behind the scaffolding, and extended the other side. But originally the stone tower in the centre there would have had a guy on the top with a telescope looking up and down the Bristol Channel there, looking for ships in distress, making sure everything was all right. The whole shipping thing was a very big deal at Penarth, with the docks at Cardiff and Penarth, with a lot of shipping traffic coming up and down the channel, taking all that coal away from South Wales. So making sure those ships were safe was quite a big deal, and hence this whole quarter of Penarth here, with the tower, cottages, Rocket House, and of course the lifeboat station down on the seafront. So yeah, quite a bit of maritime history around this part of Penarth. Well, I've hoped you've enjoyed my first little foray into things about Penarth which you may or may not have known about. So I may do some more of these in the future, but for now that's it for episode 1 of things about Penarth you may not have known about, and we'll see you for the next one. I hope you enjoyed that. Cheers guys, bye.